Hello, traders. Welcome to the support live session. Let me know, guys, if you can hear me and you can see my screen. Just drop something in the YouTube chat. Oh, great. Trader 77. Good. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. All right. What a crazy news driven market we have right now. It's hard to trust. Luckily, I came in a bunch of China stocks. Alibaba actually was my biggest position, but see, I've sold out 75% of it because you can't trust this market. But I just had an alert go off because it came down and touched the breakout high there. So see if this thing gets a little bounce. But thank you, Ahmad. Appreciate it. Yeah, that was a fun segment. I think I mentioned in that segment too. I'm not crazy. I don't think you can be loaded up in this market because it's just too dangerous right now. It's news driven. You got tariff stuff out there. You got uh, Michigan sentiment. Just seems like for the longest time, nothing would stumble us. That's not the case anymore. Yeah, this market seems to be on pins and needles. So remember that when you think about chasing a stock, it seems like if you're especially if you're like swing trading, is if you're patient, you can always be patient and get your price. But that being said, yeah, it's tricky. Let's see. Thanks for your help yesterday. I built the scan, but have one additional question. How do I make sure the filter is only spitting out names that have a 1 minute volume spike where the volume is at least uh, X amount? Well, what you want to do, you're referring to an alert window. Uh, let me think if I have one. I think the Momo scan is. So what you want to do, this is a Momo scan, stocks hitting new highs on volume. So if I go into this configuration and I go to the window specific filters, you're going to see volume in the 1 minute. Okay. At least has to be doing 1000%. So basically that's 10 times normal, Mike. So don't get confused. A lot of people think that would be 1,000 times normal. No, it's a percentage. 100% is average, right? So if you have 1,000 in the min column, it has to be doing 1,000% 1 minute volume, not based upon the previous volume. I'm sorry, the 1 minute bar. It's based upon several 1 minute bars going back in history. I can't remember the amount of days or anything like that, but it's a great filter, and that's what I use. I use 1,000. A lot of times I'll use 4 or 500 in the 5 minute. No, it's not, Mike. Unfortunately, it's not possible. We cannot compare previous bars intraday. So I know a lot of people have asked for that, but it it's a good one. This works pretty well. It works for me anyway. And let's just take a look at the history here to see. And you can see a lot of stuff coming through here. And I'll be happy to share this with you so you can check it out. And I also have, uh, a relative volume column so you can kind of see. That one didn't do too well afterwards. That one, nor did that one. Of course, look at that chart. Gosh, that's ugly. Today was probably not a lot of work today. I mean, this market is looks like it wants to bleed over some more. Yeah, yeah, we can't do the current 1 minute versus the last 1 minute. Unfortunately, we just cannot compare uh, these bars. Yes, yes. To be clear, Mike, we cannot compare the 1 minute, the current 1 minute volume spike to the prior 1 minute bar. It's not possible. Sorry. No, no, it's just our scaffolding. It's the way it works. The way we built it. We built it on an average of the current. The current uh, average going back X amount of bars, and so unfortunately, that's it. That's just the way it is. We trust me. We've had a lot of people ask for it, and our dev team just said no. Our scaffolding will not let us do that. It's just the way it was built. Now, what you can play around with maybe is the uh if you go to new, go to alert window, and you can look at this 1 minute volume spike alert and play around with that. Maybe just uh use this. I'm not exactly sure. Let's go to the help menu and see. Alert shows when a stock has unusual amount of volume. This is similar to the high relative volume alert, but the time frame is different. This alert only looks at the 1 minute candles, like the high relative. Say this compares the recent volume to for an alert to an historical baseline. So yeah, historical baseline makes me think it is still going to be comparing it, to several 1 minute bars and not just the prior bar, but something you can play around with. I mean, that's the best thing to do is just, I know you're new to the software, is just start creating, some, uh, uh, playing around with maybe this 1 minute volume spike. But I have found just using you could even increase, a lot of times when you're looking for something news driven, it's going to have a lot more than 1000%. So you might even try cranking that up maybe to 2000 percent, to eliminate and try to catch only the stuff that's maybe news driven. But uh, I'm sorry, I was hesitating, just trying to think if I had anything else. I really don't. I use that, that Momo a little bit. I don't day trade anymore, but the Master Blaster is a pretty good one. But yeah, I would you try playing around with that 1 minute volume spike and see what you can come up with. I think maybe let me go back to Midway had something. If you were primarily day trading in this environment, do you think you would still be using a 15-minute chart instead of a 5 minute chart? Good question, Midway. What I would typically do in the morning, say for the first maybe hour of the day, I would use a 5 minute chart. So trying to think of something. Let's put up Baba today. And although it was a pretty big gap up, but typically what I would do would be one of my day trading days, I would use a 5 minute chart. And then what I do after about the first hour, I would switch over to a 15-minute chart. Just seems like most of your you know I like the 5 minute chart in the first, like I said, the first hour, so I can kind of track, if I'm scalping, I can be a little more nimble, as far as maybe bar reversals go. 15 minutes, kind of, if you're scalping, can be kind of a longer time frame. and you could see it quicker on a 5-minute chart if there's a reversal versus a 15-minute chart. But I honestly believe, you know, scalping is tough, and I think a lot of people try to play much of these, fast mover, low float stocks. Nothing wrong with that if you're good at it, but I think more people should try to play some of the bigger cap stuff. You get some of just some of the cleaner moves. I'm going to show you one yesterday was PLTR. And if you're doing your homework and you're studying this stuff, put it back on my 15-minute chart because honestly, in over the last few weeks, actually about the last couple of months, I've been doing some day trading, but I've been doing it with the bigger cap stocks, the Teslas, the Nvidias. And look at this PLTR yesterday when it took out, just a beautiful move. It opened up, took out the prior day's high, and just, basically ran, 102 to all the way to, 108. That's 6 points. I mean, gosh, you buy 100 shares at $600, before you even got a bar reversal on a 15-minute chart. And I think a lot of day traders, if they would slow it down and quit trying to, jump in these, ones, and grab a bunch of big size and try to get, 10 cents, 15, 20 cents. It's a tough game, especially with the high frequency trading. But boy, I tell you, some of these bigger cap stocks that you can get some decent moves. And uh, I've traded Nvidia well. I've traded as PLTR pretty well. I've traded uh, Tesla. Just missed my entry in Tesla yesterday. I had it did not come all the way down to this level. I had an alert go and it stopped. It stopped about 50 cents from my alert, and I pulled it up later. But that would have been a good, nice little pickup down there. So a lot of times that's what I'll do. I'll look for support levels, look for range breaks and things like that PLTR. Okay, market's trying. Hi, Iris. How are you? Can you show again how you got to volume increase? Sure. Okay, this is the history on that. If I go into configure, okay, basically on this alert right here, I want to see at least 1 minute volume of basically 10 times its normal volume in the 1 minute time frame. And that is based upon several 1 minute bars and not just the previous bar. And I like to see it in the 5 minute as well. So honestly, I'm not the kind that has to be real early, like to catch these things real early. I mean, I prefer, everybody would prefer to, but if you see some consistent big volume, you can look for pullbacks. You can basically you're looking for momentum. Let's face it, momentum is not just 1 minute bar shooting up. That's not momentum. It really isn't. I mean, it's a 1 minute time frame of volume coming in. Okay, momentum is volume plus continued moving in the same direction. So if I'm looking to trade momentum, I'm looking for things that are doing, huge volume. Don't necessarily have to catch the first 1 minute bar, look for a pullback and look for that trend, over time. We'll dive in to see if we can find one today. But like I said, the market's pretty not very conducive for momentum today. But let me zoom in some of these. Yeah, it's a gap. See if anything came through this morning. There's that TNXP, which had a pretty good push. Now, if I had this on a 5 minute time frame, like I was talking about, you can see when this one came out this morning, and it was doing relative volume of 17, but ugly, ugly daily. If I'm looking at this daily, I am definitely looking for a scalp, because it's just horrendous. I mean, and sure enough, it finally reversed, but you had enough volume in this that if you were to buy it, let's say at even 15, you still got enough momentum over the next 20 minutes to push this thing all the way up to 18 because of the high relative volume coming in. So that's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. I prefer a better daily chart. This is pretty, like I said, it's ugly. So when I see a chart like that, back in my day trading days, I would be looking to scalp for sure. And I don't know if we're going to see any more. Well, here's one that came out, didn't do much, but finally got going. But okay, Midway, do you have any thoughts on Nvidia's daily chart the last couple of weeks? Yeah, I think there's some obviously some better ones out there. It's still under pressure. You can see here it's running right into a major uh, pivot level. Let's just go ahead and draw it to show you how major this pivot level is. This is the kind of stuff you want to look for, when you're whether you're swing trading or day trading. See, that's a major. And look at this resistance back over here. Got through. Just became uh, support. You can see it bounced at this level. Then, of course, the ugly gap down. Now it's running back into this level, and you got the 20 period moving average. So for me, uh, man, it's really in no man's land. I mean, I could if you're a day trader and you want to bang it back and forth, that's fine. But as far as swing trading, I'm not seeing any advantage. Uh, in either direction right now. It's kind of in no man's land. All right, let me catch up here. Hey, Bill, how are you? Yeah, the U.S. steel market. Yeah, I used to play that more. It's been kind of just look at that ugly move in X. I mean, that's the kind of it. It's really been a mess lately. Just it just really. I don't let talk out of Washington or fundament. Very few things will affect my view on whether to buy a chart other than technical analysis, really. I mean, if I do have a thought in my head about something, uh, I definitely will let price verify. But man, I just haven't seen anything in the steel sector in a while. There's Nucor. I mean, it just these things have just kind of been in an ugly downtrend, and I've seen no reason to be trying to play those the last several months. Let's take a look at the dip in Kodak. Let's see what we got here because Kodak is definitely in a dip right now. Now, definitely been a strong stock. It obviously can have some pullbacks. Now, what I would be looking at for maybe next the buying opportunity, you do have a kind of a pivot level right here. You have some support, and you have this 10 period moving average, and you kind of got a trend going on, a little trend going from right here to right there. So I like to look for trend lines, see if it's going to hold. For me, yeah, you could get lucky and get a deep pullback to the 10 period moving average, maybe around 740, uh, even 735. It's like everything today seems like it's taking it on the chin. Not seeing a lot of people, jumping in and buying, unless of course it's China. China has been performing well, and overnight markets. Gosh, I think they may have closed on a. I think they may have taken out October high. So a lot of times when I see what's happening overseas in the China market, and I see weakness over here, I use that as a buying opportunity. But Kodak, and let's look at Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah, it's obviously needs to clear this level right here. It's kind of in a range. Put the downside. Yeah, I guess we could kind of draw a range right there. Yeah, so kind of in no man's land. It looks poised. Maybe you get a back and fill to this 10 or 20 period lately. I mean, in the coming days. See Bitcoin rolling over the lows. See what Bobbitt held that level. Yeah, so far it is holding that level. I'm in a little Neo. Well, actually, quite a bit of Neo, but this Lee is really what a tough stock to trade. Look at these gaps. XPEV, so kind of holding up well, very near 52-week highs. Uh, Even EH was on the move today, seeing it come across a few of my explosive scans, which is more of it's an EV type uh, thing, but it's more of a aircraft. But anyway, Neo just been kind of hanging out down here, and I like the risk reward here for a bounce because the others have done so well. Just kind of got to Just kind of not doing a whole lot, but I don't want to fall asleep on it because I think this one may have some potential for a move here soon. Thought it was going to do it earlier today, and then got slapped down in this market. Get it back on my 15. I don't know. I don't know how to act with a 5 minute anymore. All right. So taking a look at the sectors, you got KWeb in China. So there's your kind of your stocks in play, but it was a big gap up today. So I'm not sure how much upside potential we're going to have. TCOM, I've been in. I made some. This one I'm surprised at. Uh, I can't help but buy it down here on its 50 and its 20 period moving average, but it's really being stubborn. I made some money on it earlier in this move, but yeah, this is a my opinion. I feel like it's one of the better China companies as far as revenues and growth and yeah, but boy, for some reason it's stuck in the mud down here. Let's check the big boys and we can look and see how much is under pressure. Google's under pressure, ugly day. Amazon, ugly day, down 4%. I actually got hit in after hours at 225 yesterday on this thing. I mean, I end up having to sell it when it rolled over, but AMD under pressure. Apple. So you're looking Tesla. I mean, just one after another. So uh, not stacking up good in big tech land. Yeah, you got Meta and Netflix, I think, which are doing okay. Yeah, I guess people are going to still hang out and get on Facebook and watch movies. I've been seeing this a lot, guys, and this is what's kind of pulled me back. Like a lot of my swing trade ideas, swing trade watcher. Tal is really the only thing. This was my starred pick today. The only thing that's really holding up. I mean, there was some beautiful little charts. So GoDaddy's actually hanging in there, doing okay. S- that was one of the picks. Amba didn't do anything but roll over with the market. Uh, this is one where you might want to nibble at the 50 period if you're so inclined. But getting back to my point, I'm seeing a lot of this. Yeah, where vast majority of my swing trade ideas are seeing the same thing. They're just not. They're setups. They have potential, but they're failing. They're not working, and I'm seeing a lot of that lately. So that tells me, man, you see that? You see the big tech? I just maybe time to pull back. I don't think it's like I said on Trader TV, man. This is not the time for me to be 100% invested for sure. And if it is, I'm going to be in something that's strong, like the China. Speaking of China, let's pull this over China Watcher here and take a look at some China stocks. Futu. See, you're seeing a different picture. Lee. Let's go through, get the big names. Baba. Trying to hang on. This is where you can maybe look for some, maybe some opportunity. There's some ones that are really not moving. This FINV, I kick myself for not still be on this day right here. I saw it selling off. I said, "Gosh, I should be buying that." Uh, Cal is one of the stronger ones on the list. Neo, I'm still holding out hope in you. Get your button gear and get back over that 10 period moving average. Baidu is still kind of having a hard time. Stick alert if it gets back over that 200 though. Yeah, Tao looks good. I did not grab it today only because you know, I had a lot more positions coming into today. Some of the stuff just had to get out. The market forced me out, so I missed that Tao on the open. But it's doing well. Trader 77. Momo is one to keep an eye on. It looked like it was going to go today, and this is what is beautiful about this was on a few of my scans too. But there's your wedge right there. So if MOMO can get beautiful wedge building here. So if Momo can take out today's high, I think you got to be all over that. Okay, so let's put a price alert. I like to get a little head start. Stick one in there just above 50. Because yeah, I think if it can break through that wedge, it can really get going. So one to keep an eye on there. And I'm not telling you to jump in this mess with me in this TCOM, but if it can get back above 70, I think this can be off to the races as well. But right now, I am kind of hoping and praying. I mean, it's okay if it breaks down. I just get out. You can see I still traded it well, and I got a decent price with what I have left. But now B can be a runner when it wants to. I mean, this thing when it gets going, it can really go. But once again, it's mired in a downtrend. But no, I wouldn't know where. I guess you can draw two trend lines on this one. Yum. Let's check out Yum here. Yeah, just kind of hanging out close to all-time highs. Well, maybe not. I think this may have traded. Yeah, going if I go back in history, but yeah, it's kind of in no man's land. I almost would prefer looking for a pullback on this to the 10-period moving average. Billy, I had some Billy overnight. I scalped out of 2/3 of it. It's back finally above its 50, and it's got the moving average are starting to stack up. You got the 10 crossing over the 200, and it's already crossed over the 20. Uh, Obvious downtrend, but this is one that can get going. BZ. And a lot of times, don't feel like in a market like this, you got to be trading. This is where you can come in and start looking through your scans and setting price alerts. Uh, IWM, I've tried it a couple of times, and it just cannot, get through. I almost got suckered in yesterday, but I don't like. I'd rather it trade through than gap, gap through, gap up. Uh, for somebody who might like to buy pullbacks, midway, this not a bad spot. Thing I like about buying pullbacks is your risk reward is set in your favor because you're betting it's going to hold that 20-period moving average. So basically, what you're doing, you're taking a position. You're saying, I'm taking a position at this 20. If it breaks it, I'm out. Uh, so I nothing wrong. I will buy on moving average, pullback moving averages all the time. Yeah, but I'm just really good about. I mean, if it fails, I'll get out really quick. But other than that, it's in no man's land. Yeah, you want to see it back above 230. Continue to sit here and put in price alerts that go off and never follow through. I mean, this thing has threatened, 5 times over the last 2 weeks and just cannot get going. All right. So what's Tiger? I didn't look at Tiger. Yeah. Now, what's funny is when I show all the big boys and below all their moving averages, you got Amazon, Google, AMD, Apple, Tesla, Microsoft, Nvidia, and of course you got two Meta and Netflix, which is definitely obviously having a huge part in holding up the Qs because the Qs are actually above all of their moving averages. So honestly, I think if you want to take a position, in other words, I think in this market, I think you're better off doing it with indices right now than individual stocks. It seems like they're just all over the place. Of course, XLF has been real strong. What's it doing today? Hanging in there, basically just kind of flat, all-time highs. So financials are holding up a big part of the spies for sure. Baba may be trying to poke back above this 10 period moving average on the 15-minute chart. And since I scalped out 75% of the day, now I'm in a position if I wanted to, could buy back a little more. But I don't really trust this market right now. And SMAR starting to bleed off. That was strong out of the gates. PLTR, you just can't stop it. Unbelievable. Take a look real quick. Serve. Decent day. Definitely a decent day there. Earnings play. Let's take a look at the earnings and see what is holding up. This is they have to be up, I think, 2%. It's a nice one there. Nice earnings play there. A few of them doing very well. A-frame. What did that farm ever do? I kept getting pullback alerts on that thing. Gosh dang it! I knew I should have bought that thing. I got an alert right there at 206. I looked briefly at their earnings. Man, they weren't that bad. I mean, they're making money, but right at the 200 day. If making an alert window with high relative volume, would it then be pretty unnecessary to have filters for 1 minute volume and 5 minute volume? Or would you likely I would still include those because and a lot if you're just looking for high relative volume, maybe not. But I tell you, a lot of times, a mistake a lot of people make is they put their relative volume filter too high. So in other words, I've seen stocks that may be dormant all morning, and about 4 hours into the market, some news come in, and you may have extreme 1 minute volume and 5 minute volume. But because of the dormancy, the first 4 hours, the relative volume is pretty low. So I don't use a high relative volume in my 1 minute and 5 minute. Uh, but I guess it's subjective. I would probably include them. I think. Let me just pull up a relative volume. I think I know I have relative volume leaders. And no, I don't want. I don't on this one. But like I said, it's subjective. You could. Most of these ones are going to be uh, doing huge 1 minute and 5 minute volume all day because the relative volume is so high. This must be some sort of buyout. It's an interesting little pullback there. If it Conduit Pharmaceuticals. Must be some sort of biotech. There's the one we looked at it. Yeah, Midway, you could. I mean, like I said, most if you're using a really high relative volume filter, more than likely it's the 1 minute and 5 minute volume is going to be pretty consistent, and you could just focus on uh, the volume bars almost in the like this MGNI. You could see extreme volume coming in this thing. All right, let's see. Kodak maybe for a bounce here. Yeah, it's putting in a couple of bottoming tails for sure. You got the 5-day moving average that it kind of just broke. Yeah, it could be in for a bounce. I'd feel better if it made it down there to a 10 period moving average. Let me just creep this up a little bit higher in case it wants to do a little head fake. But yeah, you definitely have some support here, and so yeah, I can see the temptation, trader. Let's see if that Baba got through. They're still trying. But you can see why I don't like trading a lot of earnings. Yeah, you have some that will continue to go. Uh, See that Kodak. I'm kind of a little bit tempted here to just maybe enter a little partial. Yeah, Smar is having a good day, but it's giving it up. Yeah, but the Oklo, what is it doing? It is strong, but it giving now it's pulling back. Uh, NNE, yeah, they're definitely green today. I don't like what I'm seeing currently in the way they're trying attempting to break down intraday, especially that Oakland, just rolling over. Yeah, so not something I'd be interested in at this point. But yes, they're definitely strong on the day. AI is still green on the day, but I tell you that thing has been a mess lately. I was in it yesterday and should have just banged out my profits. Ended up getting out for a flat. I don't like the way this thing's been trading. Yeah, Tau still looking good there. Baba's got back above its moving average, and finally trying to get Neo get through that 25 for me. Amazon back above 230. I bought some of that Kodak, their Trader 77. Half size, not real confident. Seems like every time I do this, I'd be better served to be patient and wait for the moving average, but it's tempting. Yes, yes, you can midway. So, uh, yeah. So let's say you building a new high alert, and you can come in here and say, "All right, I want a new high, but I want it at least hitting a 5-day high." So I like it. A lot of times in my like my master blaster that I like, I think I have a five. I use a position and range filter, like a 5-day. Just put it. Uh, that's another way to do it, or you can just come in there and put like a new 5-day high. Yeah, I think too many people buy new highs, just because they see a little jump in the intraday chart, but you look over the daily and it's in the middle of no man's land, so but correct, you can use that as the number of days high you would like to have for sure. Buying a little beak here, BEKE. Kodak popped above that little 60 level there, trader. BT BTDR, yeah, a little Bitcoin trade there, huh? Yeah, definitely a contrarian play. Let's see, Bitcoin was strong out of the gates this morning, but like a lot of things got hung up with the market. I don't know enough about Kodak. I mean, I don't even know where they're making their money these days, but I like the way the chart's been acting lately for sure. I've been definitely been trading it. I mean, they're making revenues. Uh, Not a whole lot of earnings per share, but the price to earnings ratio seems good to me. Looking back, let's just pull up a weekly, see what we got. Yeah, it poked through, and now you got your pullback. So hopefully this thing gets going, can take back out that high, that 820 level. I think if it can get back, to there, yeah, I can see this thing going to $10 easy. Yes, Dynasty, they do like Kodak. Oh, GoPro. Yeah, that's man, penny stock now. Seeing some of my China stocks bounce. I wanted to buy a little bit of that Momo, but just kind of in no man's land. EDU looks nothing like Tau, does it? Yeah, I definitely, Steve, I definitely cut some wrists today too. Okay, Neo finally poked its head above that 25 level, and I'm looking for this one. It's maybe to do a sneak attack at some point. Excuse me. Oh, I got to remind myself it is Friday and the market's been on pins and needles, so I'm not going to get overextended here. And mostly, I'm mostly focusing on China stocks right now. Nice little Holly buy there in VNet. I feel like this Neo is one of those trades where you buy a chunk, and I tell myself just put a stop if it breaks four, and take it off your screen. Just see what happens. All right, guys, it is getting about that time. It is market. It looks like it's possibly falling asleep. Pressure is still to the downside, especially in U.S. stocks. Big tech having a hard time getting anything going. And yeah, I'm probably going to go home pretty light, depending on mostly how my China stocks hold up today. Yeah, Hutch, as far as the money machine, I hate to throw something out as far as a date because it's really hard to tell as long as it's still in testing and API development and things like that. Uh, I'm hoping for sometime in March, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Uh, right now, Dan and Brad, working on it, and then eventually they'll give it to the traders here to play around with it and for input. Yes, Midway, you have a great weekend too. All of you guys have a great weekend. Keep it tight. Uh, be careful going home a whole lot, but yeah, I'm going to keep it thin. That's for sure. All right, guys, I enjoyed it. Great. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.